Okay, so what's up? Welcome back to my channel about suffering through tech and corporate burnout and coming through the other side, trying to build a business. This is the day that I just catch up, and I'm trying to make one of these videos about once a week because once a week is about pretty standard, in line with a weekly update for Scrum. Most Scrum environments give an update every day. I'd probably bore too many of you if I gave an update every day. So without hesitation, I'm going to sort of like cut between the screen here to show my Notion board. So I have 3 boards that I've created on Notion. One for contracting work because I want to sort of do some contracting to try to pick up the slack. And I've worked out that my short-term goal is like within the next 12 months to actually just get enough work through contracting to maybe pay for the rent. That would be nice. So, I mean, that would still be probably, I think my rent works out, well, actually shared with my partner, my rent is about maybe 15% of my annual salary of what I was earning back when I used to be an employee anyway. What I used to be as an employee is still the metric that I'm going to try to sort of compare myself to because it's hard to sort of go back when you've reached a previous salary. Contract work is going to pick up some of the slack, but maybe not too much. I mean, maybe my development of my apps will work out, but probably not. You know, probably from everything I've like read and every person I talk to, it takes a while to sort of get that customer base. So I'm just going to be going by savings for quite some time, I think. I've been having this in mind for about 5 years or more to try to break out because that's that's how long ago I first got a sense that I was burnt out, right? And it hasn't been smooth sailing ever since because I've been in and out of jobs, probably because I've been burnt out and I haven't been able to recover. I haven't been able to give my all or even kind of like, you know, close to my all. Because I didn't really have any money saved up, then I couldn't really make a thing out of bootstrapping and going in my own business. I think a lot of places, a lot of people that are sort of like have made that kind of path work, I think have been in a fortunate place where they have a bit of money saved up. For anyone like not familiar or getting into the space for the first time, it's kind of commonly referred to as bootstrapping, where it's essentially that just means that you're self-funded and you're just gonna live off your own savings. Yeah, there's a startup word for that. Before I forget, quick word from our sponsor. Hi, are you somebody who's publicly ashamed about ordering the pumpkin spice latte? Now you don't have to be with a new app called Breaking the Spice. Your request goes directly to my phone, and then I'll be at your coffee vendor of choice. Anywhere between 5 minutes to 5 days. Simple. I will then save you the hassle of looking basic by ordering it for you, lining up, collecting it, and then I will hand it to you at the end of the line. From my pumpkin to yours, we're breaking the spice. Good. Oh wait, this is yours. Okay, so I got a development board and then I got a founders board, which basically is just a board for like high level admin tasks and stuff like that. Right now my wife is helping me out, although she hasn't sort of committed to being a co-founder yet, and whether she comes on board full time or I find another or an additional co-founder is you know, something that I'm open to as well. But at the moment it's mainly just me working on this full time. So founders is just something where I sort of like put the non-development work for now. Like for instance, last week I actually had to get my DUNS number. So we can probably click through there and just see what's in there a little bit. Okay, so this is actually where I drop in my YouTube stuff as well. I can still use the Scrum style Agile board just to record the videos that I do for YouTube because yeah, this is all part of the experience. This is YouTube's building up my presence. I have a video that I'm planning on doing that about a few benefits that that YouTube videos forces you to make. One is that it just like keeps me in the practice of talking. I found it very useful when I was going through YC Startup School in the summer to actually just have a weekly session. You'd probably have a session between anywhere from 2 to 5 startups, and you'd be practicing on a weekly basis about what your startup is doing and then also about pitching your startup, like maybe, you know, in 1 or 2 sentences in that. But just the practice of talking I found very useful, and because I'm a solo founder right now, I could easily get out of the habit of that because it's really easy to silo yourself up. DUNS number. This is actually really cool. I think I can probably drag them to finished later on, but I need to, because I got an email confirming that yesterday. For those that aren't familiar, DUNS number, and I only just learned this like about a few weeks ago. If you're creating a corporation entity on the Apple Store, which is what I'm planning on doing, then apparently there are a few more requirements, and DUNS is one of these things. I still don't really know what it means, but they originally kind of rejected it because they couldn't really get in touch with me because I had the phone blocking on, like the new iOS 13 feature. Because I hate getting phone calls from phone numbers I don't recognize. I just kind of I just turn it off. So apparently I got an email confirming that yesterday that it'll be valid in the next 7 days or something. So that's cool. So maybe I'll leave that in there for now and drag it in there for 7 days, or maybe I'll just drag it in here for now. And I could probably just create an Apple account in the meantime, and then if DUNS number isn't valid, then I'll probably find out in that process. Back to development board. Last week I finished all the work to do with the login, and this is probably why I just kept it to Apple login for now, because one, it's new, and I kind of wanted to see like how easy or how tricky it was. It's relatively easy, but you still got the same sort of tricks of the trade that isn't necessarily related to the actual login itself. For instance, I had to sort of like load up some data and initialize that for the first time on the back end, just like when it was a new initialization after they logged in. So I had to kind of go back and forth a lot and test that out just to make sure all the data was consistent. Test logging in with a different device with the same account and restoring data. I have actually tested that, so that's working okay. So, this can be dragged and dropped like that, as I showed in my last video. Fix the layout width, the main score. Oh yeah, because I tested on the iPhone 7 for the first time, and I just noticed some layout inconsistencies, but that's looking good now, so that's just a minor thing. I worked on employee can see their company name. Yes, so that's working now. The first time I was creating the views, I was just using kind of static information and static data. So I didn't really create the data, how it's going to be sort of retrieved on the back end. So I had to do a little bit of tweaking there. So the device should refresh when coming back from the background. I'm pretty sure this is fixed. I spent a bit of time on this also today. The issue with this and why I kind of prioritize this for the first release is because the app basically just displays scores on a daily basis. It refreshes those scores to 0 or to empty on a new day. So there had to be some kind of refresh mechanism. This is kind of an area where I went a little bit lean here, just to keep in practice of the lean sort of mentality I'm trying to sort of have for the first release, for the first MVP. That is that I didn't do any kind of messing around with dates, and I'm refreshing the app whenever the device launches the app from the background again. So ideally it should, whenever it comes back from the background, it should maybe check the dates and do a comparison, but I'm not even doing that. I'm just kind of refreshing the data. So that's good enough for now. So I'm going to drag this into done. Now I'm a big believer of not dragging the bugs back into to do or in progress columns if it comes back. If it comes back, I'm going to probably try to sort of make a note of it in another task that I find it in, or I'm just going to redo the bug. I could probably get into that later because that is a whole world of problems, of of battles I've been in companies as well. Yeah, I could probably go on forever about it. An employee should be able to view an aggregate total consisting of every score they've ever entered. I think this is still using static data, so I just need to sort of swap it out with the data from the back end, and it should be good. So I just got to finish that. Add a start date to the login flow for the company. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do instead, okay, so this is my no status thing. Because it kind of distracts me, but this is all the stuff I have in version 2. I'm going to drag this into version 2 or version 0.2, whatever I've called it, because I don't really think it's necessary for the first one. I'm asking people when they sign up to mention or to name the company they work in. Because this is an app that you use to rate your cultural health of your company, it's natural that just on login, I'm going to ask, well, okay, what company do you work for? Just put that in, and then that'll display for whenever they do their ratings. But people will work for more than one company, so ideally you'd want a start date and an end date just for each company. You're probably going to hear me say this a ton of times, so this is the first version. Right now I'm not giving them the option to change companies, so we don't really technically need the start date. I think when I start giving them the option to actually switch companies, probably in the next version, then I can prompt them. So That I don't need to do. That'll just be a distraction. This one, an employee can register interest for the coming soon page. Yes, so that's going to be something that I'm probably the last thing before I release, actually. The rest of it will just be like taking screenshots, so I'll probably need to do a few new stories or tickets for that.
I hate the word ticket.
This is going to be a coming soon page to browse other company scores. I need to work on this, so this is priority. This is going to be like the next kind of like feature. Once people can update their scores, they're going to have the ability to browse other company scores, which I think is, the main value prospect of it. But that'll be coming soon. This is also a way that I don't have to invest too much time into developing this, but I can still get a sense about just like who's interested. So I'm just going to create in the tab or whatever, just like where this would actually go, this feature. I'm going to instead just say, hey, it's coming soon. If you're interested in this, hit the request early access button, or maybe it's a button that says I'm interested or something like that. It's like 100%, that'll be awesome. If it's 80%, that'll be awesome as well. If it's like 5% or 10%, then I have to really question about whether I should sort of go ahead and build it. Or maybe it's something else related. Maybe it depends on the way that I actually put the access button in the app, So I have to be open-minded there as well and say that, and be of the opinion that it's not the only way to sort of gauge interest, but it could be one of the ways. Okay, so that's me done for this week. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. I'm just trying to build up this channel now. If you're interested in the startup space, if you got any questions, please leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching again. Thanks for watching for the first time. If this is your first time, I'm going to try and make this a weekly thing. So I look forward to doing more. I will see you for the next one.